Hello, brilliant entrepreneur. It's Tash Corbin here, and welcome to another episode of the Heart-Centered Business Podcast. This is episode number 240, which means you can find all the relevant links and show notes over at tashcorbin.com/240. In today's episode, I'm going to talk about why marketing tactics are not your biggest challenge in your business and how to stop playing at the surface. So let's dive on in. I'm Tash Corbin, and this is the Heart-Centered Business Podcast. If you know me, you'll know that I loves me some good questions. I love asking questions on social media, in conversations with people, and also on my calls in my group programs. I love asking questions because I love understanding how people are identifying what they need to focus on in their business, what their big challenges are, and what they want help with, because that helps me to make sure that my content is really relevant and I'm able to support people with the things that they want help with. However, when I ask questions about people's biggest challenge with growing their business, or their biggest challenge with making sales, or their biggest challenge with social media, or their biggest challenge with scaling, I often get, and probably 9 out of 10 responses, where people are identifying their marketing tactics as their biggest challenge. So they'll ask me questions about, well, I don't know how to fill my webinar, or I don't know whether I should be running a 5-day challenge or a webinar instead. I'm struggling with doing really good sales calls. I'm just getting lots of people saying they can't afford to work with me. Or I don't know how to price my online course or my packaging. I don't know how to write good offer copy. I don't know how to write a sales page. So people are saying that their biggest challenge with growing their business is actually part of their marketing tactics. And I would say it is around 9 out of 10 people that I speak to, or when I ask questions or answer on social media, who would identify a marketing tactic as their biggest challenge. But with all of my experience in the people that I've helped with in this online business space, I can tell you hand on heart, for most people, that is not actually their biggest challenge. They are misdiagnosing their challenge as being something to do with their marketing strategy or their marketing tactics, when in actual fact, they've got a foundations issue in their business. And the foundations that I am referring to are your niche, your value proposition and messaging, and your offer. Those things need to be solid before any marketing strategy or tactic is actually going to work. So what do I mean by these foundations? Number one, your niche. Having a very specific, very tangible niche allows you to get hyper specific with your value proposition and messaging. It allows you to be really clear on those marketing decisions that you're going to need to make when you do decide on marketing to this particular audience. And having a really specific niche also allows you to accelerate your growth in your business faster than any other decision. So remember, you've probably heard these sayings: if you try to speak to everyone, you end up speaking to no one. The riches are in the niches. You know, all of these sayings, they're common and they're consistent because it's so true. The broader your messaging needs to be to accommodate for a broad niche, then the less likely it is to deeply resonate with your audience. The broader your niche is, the less specific you are able to get about the tangible, practical, day-to-day experiences that let your ideal client know they have a challenge. So when you are talking about your ideal client, if you are using the word or slash or and, then chances are you're not being specific enough, and therefore it doesn't matter how great your ad copy is. If it's not specific and tangible, it's not going to resonate with people. It doesn't matter how great your ad spend is. It doesn't matter how much money you put into ads. If you're trying to get in front of hundreds of thousands of people and your messaging isn't clear because you're not niched enough, then you're going to be wasting money on those ads. You're going to be building an audience that may not actually be ready to buy from you. So we want to make sure that we've got that niche foundation clear first and foremost. Second of all is then value proposition and messaging. Once you've got that hyper-specific niche, then you can create deeply resonant messaging and articulate your value proposition in a way that really resonates with your audience and your ideal clients. And that is what we want our online messaging to do. So getting really clear on your value propositioning and your messaging ecosystem. Remember, your message is not one sentence. Your value proposition is not 3 bullet points. Your value proposition and messaging are expressed in an ecosystem. In the Takeoff program, we build a messaging onion, and that is how we articulate a value proposition and message across the different audiences in your business in a way that deeply resonates with those audiences. So you want to make sure you get that value proposition and messaging really clear as well. And then the final piece is your offer. Do you have something that people are ready, willing, and able to buy? And have you proven that by making sales? I would be making sure that you can actually make a sale of your offers, of your packages, before you apply any marketing tactics or strategies to them. You can make sales through connected conversations, through discussing with people, reaching out to your existing networks before you ever need to use any of those broadcast marketing strategies to get in front of a cold audience. That means that you are building based on tangible, practical results and things you've proven rather than just your theories alone. And we know no great business was built on theory. So once you've got those 3 foundations really solid and really clear by making sales, it's then that we start to look at your broadcast marketing tactics. And the next thing I would say is that most people go straight to very high level broadcast strategies. They go straight to the surface level stuff. So they look at big long reach Facebook ads or guest posts on other people's Facebook pages or on other people's blog posts. They're trying to get in front of as big an audience as possible. They look at reach and the surface level strategies when it comes to marketing. But if you focus on your conversion-based marketing activities first, your high-touch, high-conversion marketing, highly connected reach rather than broadcast reach first, you're then proving your niche, value proposition, and offers work for a warm audience. And then once you've proven that, you can then go out and prove it works for a cold audience. The colder the audience, the more nurturing and warming up you're going to need before you get that conversion. So if you jump straight from, yep, I've made 2 sales, now I'm going to broadcast and grow my reach by thousands and thousands of people without any nurturing or any way to warm that audience up, then you're going to have a lot of reach and very little conversion. So we want to grow your business and your marketing strategy and tactics in a way that doesn't just jump straight to the surface. It builds that proof through making sales and growing your income as you go. Now, if this sounds like a really novel way of doing business to you, you've never heard me talking about lean business before or getting that niche right first, then I would love for you to come and check out my Nail Your Niche training. It is available now for you to watch at any time. It's now evergreen. So you just need to go to the show notes of today's episode at tashcorbin.com/240. I'll make sure the link is there for you and you can register for my free Nail Your Niche training so that you can go through that process of making sure, 1, you've got that very solid, very clear, hyper-specific niche. I give you the 5 niche decisions that you need to make. And then 2, how to apply that in your value proposition and messaging and applying that into your offers so that you can actually start to make sales. If that sounds like it might be a good fit for you, then go and check it out with the show notes at tashcorbin.com/240. Again, as always, if you loved this episode, I would love for you to give it a review wherever you listen to the podcast and come on over to the Heart-Centered Soul-Driven Entrepreneurs Facebook group and continue the conversation. If you've got more questions, you want to talk about your niche, you want to share a light bulb moment that came up for you in this podcast episode, then just use #podcastAha. Let me know you've been listening to episode number 240 and we'll continue the conversation over there. Thank you so much for joining me for this episode of the Heart-Centered Business Podcast. And until next time, amazing entrepreneur, I cannot wait to see you shine. Bye-bye. Would you like more tips, tools, and resources to help you grow your heart-centered business? Head to tashcorbin.com today.